Hey y'all, it's Kay from the Literary Apothecary, and today I'm going to talk about my June TBR. I know it is super early, but we've got something very exciting going on in June. I'm going to be doing the Shelf Space Olympics Readathon.
Zero to hero, your time flies. Zero to hero, just like that.
In June, and I'm actually team captain, but I can't say what team I'm a captain of yet, not until the teams are announced to make it fair. But I'm so excited about this readathon. It's going to be so fantastic. I was in the Reindeer Games readathon in December on Team Buddy, and it was so much fun. We couldn't wait to do another one, so we started planning this basically before the Reindeer Games even ended. So I'm very excited for this, and I'm going to go through the prompts. Katrina and Charmaine created this amazing prompt card, so I'm going to use that to go through our prompts and let you guys know what books I'm thinking of reading for these prompts in June. Of course, you know my TBR is very big and very extensive, and it moves a lot, so this is not set into place. It could change by the time I finish filming this anyways. So, without further ado, let's just start with the prompts. Let's get into it. Our first prompt is Zeus.
Thank you, my boy.
Read a book that features a kingdom or patriarchy. And for me, this one is going to be Valor by John Gwynne. So this is book 2 in the Faithful and the Fallen series, and I'm putting Valor here in the hopes that I can actually get to Malice in May. But if I don't get to Malice or don't get through the entire book of Malice, then I'm going to be reading Malice instead of Valor. Next up we have Poseidon. Read a book with water, i.e. oceans, lakes, rivers. And for this I'm going to be reading Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is book 2 in the Poppy War series, and I can't wait to continue this series. I loved the Poppy War, and I've been dying to know what happens next in the story, so I can't wait to get to that. Next up we have Hades.
If there's one god you don't want to get steamed up, it's Hades.
'Cause he had an evil plan.
He ran the underworld.
Read a book with the undead or ghost theme, and for this is actually going to be a birthday read for me. I'm putting in The Patience of a Dead Man here, and this is one of my friend Sharon's favorite books, and so I'm going to be reading it for her birthday in June. I know Leslie at the Nerdy Narrative also really loves this book, so I can't wait to see what all the spooky fun is about. Next up we have Hestia. Read a book with the found family trope. And for me, this could be so many because the found family trope is such a popular theme in fantasy, and I love it. It's one of my favorite, if not the favorite trope for me. So right now I have The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwith as my book for this prompt. I'm told by several people across the internet that there is a found family trope in this book, so I'm trusting them. But if it turns out there isn't, there are so many other books that I could put in. I would probably slide in maybe like Kings of the Wild instead. But right now I'm going with The Library of the Unwritten because that's also our June Discord buddy read for my Literary Apothecary Discord. Hephaestus. Read a book with fire on the cover or in the title, and for me this book is with the fire on high, and this book could fit for several different prompts. A lot of these books can fit in different prompts for me, which is so nice because then I can just move them around as I read them and find out if it's in a different prompt better. This book is, I believe, a YA book, and I'm so excited to read this. The cover is just absolutely beautiful, and I've heard a lot of great stuff about this book, and I've been really excited to read this for a long time, so I can't wait. It'll be a nice change also with a lot of these bigger, heavier books to slide in a YA here and there. Next up we have Dionysius, and this prompt says, read a book with red or white cover. And for me, this one is going to be Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is a Shelf Space official book of the month pick with Alan at Library of Alexandria and Leslie at the Nerdy Narrative. And I know a lot of people are going to be reading this book, and I can't wait. I haven't read a Blake Crouch book yet, but I've heard fantastic things about this writer and this book, so I can't wait. Next up we have Hermes.
Oh, we're in trouble. Oh, big trouble. I gotta move. My lord and lady, the Titans have escaped, and they're practically at our gates.
Read a book involving travel, vacation, or a quest. For me, this one is going to be Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. This is book 3 in the Outlander series, and that's assuming that I get through for both book 1 and book 2 of Outlander in May. I'm about halfway through, maybe a little more than halfway through book 1 right now, so I'm hopeful that this will happen. Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. Next up we have Artemis. Read a book with moon or night in the title or on the cover, and for me this is going to be Woven in Moonlight, and this was gifted to me by my lovely friend Ariel, and she just absolutely loved this book and told us nothing but good things about this book. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it on BookTube, so I am very, very excited to read Woven in the Moonlight for my Artemis prompt. Next up is Apollo. Read a book in a non-traditional format, i.e. verse, mixed media, graphic novel, novella, short story collection. For me, I'm going to go with a short story collection, and it's The Return of the Sorcerer by, I believe, Ashton Clark Smith. This is a buddy read with my lovely friend Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in space, and I believe Miss Richards reads Stephanie. We are going to be reading this book together and doing a live show about it in June. So I can't wait for that. I also had in here The Great Gatsby graphic novel, which I'm very excited to read also. So maybe if I have an amazing June, I'll be able to read both. Next up we have Aries. Read a military-centered fantasy or sci-fi book. And this is one of my Library of Alexandria inspired prompt choices. I am putting in Traitor's Blade, the first book in the Great Coats series here. Alan has talked so much about this series. I can't wait to read the first book and see what it's all about. He absolutely loves this series and talks about it constantly, so I can't wait to get into it. Next up is Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Her beauty and grace were renowned throughout the ancient world, and each year the Aphrodisia dance was held to honor her. To honor love, you know.
Honey, you okay?
You don't know much about love.
Read a book with a beautiful cover. And for me, I've got two choices here. It's going to be either The Sword of Kaigan or The Lost Queen. And both of these covers I absolutely love. They are beautiful, and I am excited to read both of these. I've heard great stuff about Sword of Kaigan, and my Ariel just read The Lost Queen, and that cover is just gorgeous, and it's about like this Scotland in like, I forget, the 1600s or something, and I mean, you guys know how I feel about Scotland. Anything that mentions Scotland, I'm there for it. So those are my two choices for Aphrodite, but so many of these books can also be under Aphrodite, so we'll see how that goes. Next up we have Hera. Read a book that features a queendom or matriarchy. And for me, this is going to be The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is book 3 in the Blood and Ash series, and literally just last night I finished book 2, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and that ending was nuts. I have no idea like what I read, really. It's like one of those endings that you're like, what did I read? I need to read book 3 in order to find out what I just read at the end of book 2. So I can't wait to get into that and be able to join in all of the discussions about that book that's been going on this month. Next up we have Demeter, and that says read a book with food on the cover, and this one was hard for a lot of people, but for me this one is going to be Chocolat. And I have had this book on my TBR for a long time now. This is actually one of my bibliotherapy books, and I can't wait to read it and see what all of the talk is about, because this is an older book. There's been so much talk about it throughout since it's been published, and I can't wait to read it. Next up we have Athena. Read a book with political intrigue. For me, this is going to be Hod King by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 3 in the Tower of Babel series, and this is assuming that I get through book 2, Arm of the Sphinx, in May, which I really hope I do because we've got a live show at the beginning of June, so I really need to get through that. And I can't wait to see where Tamala Senlin's story goes from book 1. So, Hod King, book 3 for Athena. Next up we have Eos. Read a book that is the first in a series or duology. For me, this is going to be Crown of Feathers. This is another one that could be put in for Aphrodite, but I'm putting it for Eos because it is the first in its series, and this is a buddy read with a group of friends of mine, and I can't wait to get into it because ever since I saw that cover, and I've read the description where they're kind of like they have control over phoenixes or something, I am so excited to read this. I can't wait. And the last prompt that we have is Nyx. Read a book that is the last in a series or duology. And for me, this is going to be Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. I'm finally going to finish Mistborn Era 1 series. So many people have been waiting for me to get to this book and finish this series that it's finally going to happen in June. So I'm very excited. Now, as you know, those are 16 books, assuming that I read one book for each prompt and I can get through all of them. You know my reading speed. There's no way I'm going to be able to read 16 books in 1 month. Even if I am going to be taking some vacation time in June, I'll be lucky if I get through 10. Really lucky. So, you don't have to read every book for every prompt to get points. Another thing that's fun about this readathon is that you can get points for books that you read outside these prompts. So you can read additional books and still get points for it. And depending on the size of the book, how many pages there are in the book, will determine, I think, how many points you get for each book. But you also get points for completing a book. And you'll get extra points for completing a prompt that correlates with your team. So, it's important what team you pick. Our team determiners are going to be your reading speed. So one of the questions on the sign-up sheet is, how many books do you anticipate reading in June? And so we're going to try to split it evenly between, your favorite god or goddesses, which is each team has a god or goddess from the Roman or Greek legends, and your reading speed to make the teams as fair as possible. So, sign-ups are until May 24th, so you still have time to sign up if you want. I'll put the link to the Shelf Space Discord in the description below. Just go there and follow the links for the sign-up sheet. I can't wait for June for this to start. I am so excited for this. I can't wait to see who ends up on what team and what books people are going to be reading. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. But that is my tentative June TBR for the Shelf Space Olympics Readathon. Come and join us in the Readathon. Be a hero. Go from zero to hero like Hercules did. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll put the information in the description below. Like always, my Patreon and Discord information will also be below. Let me know what books you're thinking of reading for the Readathon if you're going to be part of it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.